So OpenAI did something that is extremely clever. So a few days ago, it opened up, created, and launched to the public O3 mini model, which is apparently very powerful, and it has really good reasoning capabilities. And the great thing is that this model is fast, affordable, and does really well with reasoning in general. The question is, what does it really mean for developers, business owners, or people in general? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video. So stay tuned for more. You know, it's very interesting because just even a few days ago, before this big announcement, we must have heard of DeepSeek R1, which is this amazing open source reasoning model built by DeepSeek, which is a Chinese company. And of course, everybody went crazy about it, self included, because this new model, number one, besides of being also a powerhouse when it comes to reasoning capabilities and code writing and all of that, it's free, which means it's open source. So anybody can actually grab it and do whatever they want with it. But most importantly, DeepSeek R1 was superior when it came to certain benchmarks compared to OpenAI O1. I think O3 mini is literally a way of OpenAI say, well, we can do better. But I digress. Let's go ahead and take a look at O3 mini and look around and see what is this all about. You can see here we have this January 31st, 2025. This is when this model was released. It says here, pushing the frontier of cost-effective reasoning. And I love this, cost-effective. It's very clever because it is implying that it's cheaper, which it is. And actually, I will tell you in a little bit that is actually free. So the whole thing, if you go ahead and read it says a lot of things about O3 mini being the latest AI model that is built specifically for reasoning, meaning it's much better at math, coding, and do logical based tasks. But most importantly, if you continue to read, it says somewhere that this, of course I read this beforehand, it says that it is actually smaller model, because the bigger the model is, the more computational hungry the model will be, offering high rates, limits, and lower latency, making it a compelling choice for coding, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math, and logical problem-solving tasks. It also says here, additionally, O3 mini now works with search to find up-to-date answers with links to relevant web sources. That's exactly what R1 did as well. So I want you to stay around because there's something else I need to tell you about in terms of what to think or how to think about this whole thing. Free plan users can also try OpenAI O3 mini by selecting Reason in the message composer. Now, I'm not a free user. I've been using, I think, for over 2 years now. If you are new to this game, to ChatGPT, OpenAI, and all this AI thing, then you get a chance to actually work with OpenAI O3 mini for free. I don't know for how long this will be free, but probably not for that long. So they're trying to get as many people to come in and be able to use that. So it is a pressure that they got from R1, in this case, DeepSeek. It is business. It is what it is. And we all benefit from that. Now let's talk about what really makes this model that great. Looking at all this documentation, the one thing you always will see, the recurring theme, is that there are a few things that make this really a good model, because they made a lot of improvements, a lot of big improvements. Now this model is really better at math, coding, and science, which is great for developers and students. It's also smarter, saying that 39% fewer mistakes that it makes, which means it has smarter responses and fewer errors. And of course, it's faster and cheaper as well, which is great. Now you can see here they've got this competition math, and actually they're doing this benchmarking with their own previous models, which is interesting. I like the way they are thinking. Instead of saying, well, we're better than R1 and so forth, they are implying that they are, but using only the benchmarks using their own models. You can see here that O3 mini high, we have low, medium, and high. Of course, the O3 mini high is really high in terms of the benchmarks when it comes to optimizing for STEM reasoning. Now, here's why for developers this is a huge deal. Number one, this means that we have more control over the reasoning of all these models, because these are highly trained models that do really well in many different benchmarks here. So as you can see, as developers, we can literally adjust the effort level for different tasks we want to include in our applications. And number two, of course, is the big one, which is the lower cost. And that is particularly something that I'm very always interested in and makes me really happy, because as we get these models, these companies are literally battling, trying to figure out how to get the biggest market share. That means they will always have this competitiveness around them, which means we are the ones who gain the most, because the cost is going to be continue to getting lower. And that's really good. And also, most importantly, we also ended up with a lot of very smart PhD level science. Even AIs are able to do all these computations and reasoning, which is amazing. And that means what? Well, that means that we can actually build AI tools with these functionalities, right? With these high-level reasonings, such as through function calling and structured outputs. And also, we gain this expanded API access. And all of these you can find, of course, inside of this announcement post that I made. What does that really mean, expanded API access? Well, O3 Mini is coming through the chat completion API, which allows developers to customize our own applications that will use the API. We'll use these models through the API. So whether you're building a chat box or a RAG system or even code copilots, using O3 Mini will offer a great balance between power and efficiency. You know, one of the things that I like about O3 Mini is this ability of this high-level reasoning, such as a PhD level even, as one of the benchmarks. When we talk about reasoning, we're inferring that these models are able to do really well when it comes to problem solving. But here's the thing, AI is only as good as the people who are actually using it, which brings me to the sponsors of this video, Brilliant.org. So if you want to sharpen your skills in general, your STEM skills, your engineer skills, your CSS skills, your math skills, your computer science skills, your AI skills, which will allow you to level up your problem solving skills in general, this platform is indeed a game changer. Unlike traditional courses, Brilliant is really good at creating these interactive courses that allow you to actually start doing things as you learn. So essentially, you're going to be learning through this hands-on approach. You can learn math, programming, AI, and logic, and so many other subjects, disciplines out there. So whether you're a developer who wants to improve your development skills or just a learner just like me or most of you, then Brilliant is going to be the best place for you to really hone in your thinking skills, your capabilities, your problem solving skills, because all the courses are hands-on and interactive, which makes it actually fun to learn these sometimes very hard concepts to understand. And the best part about Brilliant is these courses, these interactive courses, are actually designed to build your intuition step by step. Just like O3 Mini improves AI reasoning, you can also improve your own reasoning capabilities. Now, if you want to try all that Brilliant offers for 30-day free plus 20% off an annual premium subscription, go ahead and follow the link in the descriptions or somewhere on this screen to get started with Brilliant. So now that we have covered how to step up your reasoning game, let's go ahead and look at what this all means for consumers, because I understand that most of us are also consumers of these large language models, even though some of us build AI tools. All right, so if you go to OpenAI here, you can go ahead and see, as we're recording of this video, you will see a few things here. So we have O1, which says uses advanced reasoning, and then we have O3 Mini fast and advanced reasoning. All right, and also have O3 Mini high. So this says here it's great at coding and logic. Let's try O3 Mini. So if you click here, you can see that at the top it is indeed toggled, so 3 minis is working. I'm going to start with please solve the following. Now, one thing I noticed is that it also has this autocomplete. Please solve the following equation related to physics. Please solve the following equation step by step. So I'm going to say let's say 45 minus 5 equals 45. Let's see what this is going to do. Okay, let's hit enter. Okay, so it's going to go and start this reasoning process here. It's pretty fast, actually. Make it a little smaller so you can see. It goes through the reasoning about solving a linear equation for a second and gives us the whole thing. Add 5 to both sides, that's what it does, and then does the division, divides both sides by 45. So it's really reasoning through and showing us exactly what the reasoning is, and then gives us the solution. That was really fast, faster than I could even spit out the words here. So x is 10/9. All right, very good. And I can say give me the code to solve, let's say to solve the hardest. This is very open-ended, and what I can do also, I can come here of course and use this one that is known for coding and logic. Maybe this is probably better. Now again, this wasn't scripted or anything, so I'm just going to check this out and see if this works. And it's going to go ahead and reason. And it's not quite fair because there's so many really tough algorithms there. Okay, let's see. Addressing ambiguity. In tackling ambiguity of the request by acknowledging the lack of specific. There we go. So it wasn't very specific, which is a big no-no when it comes to prompting these large language models, as you should know. So it talks about interpreting ambiguity, and NP hard problem, examining and everything. So this probably wasn't the best example, but I like the fact that it goes through the process of looking at the question itself and start reasoning. Say, okay, this is a good question. It's not really, but I will go with it and see what happens. Okay. Because you can see here the phrase hardest algorithm in the world, which could imply an NP hard problem and consider asking for clarification. So it may ask me for more clarifications. Okay, right, it did that exactly. Okay, so now that since it talked about this, I'm going to say copy that and I'm going to paste in that. So it will infer from this context that this is what I mean. Okay, now it's going to look at crafting the Python code. It's really fast. As you can see, I can't even keep up with it, which is really good. All right, so it reasoned everything, has the conclusion, and it should have the code, which we can go ahead and run. I'm not going to do that, but you can see that most likely it did really well. And it reasoned everything through and also gives us the explanation. This is the core thing of everything, because after all this reasoning, it actually gives us the explanation of what had happened, how it came to this conclusion or this code that it spits out to say this is the final result. This is an overview of O3 mini, in this case high, and O3 mini in general, and there you have it. So you can start imagining things that you can start building or thinking about building, or problems that but I could say this model is able to solve in general as a consumer. All right, so this is the part that you've been hopefully waiting for, which is I like to think of this as think about the big picture of this whole thing. One thing I want to say is that I need you to start thinking about AI as number one, a tool. And I know this is more of a repetition than anything, but bear with me here. Just think about a few months ago, a year or so, most people were so worried, and some people still are, that AI is going to come and take their jobs away. I always say that is not true per se. Now, it could happen, but I don't like to think that way because it's a very finite way of thinking. I look at AI as a stepping stone, as a leverage in so many ways to building things as fast as we can with a lot of quality. And what I mean by that is that, yes, these large language models hallucinate. They make stuff up. But you have to look at this as a stepping stone to this revolution that is happening. The way we work, our productivity has been redefined. Just think of the amount of time that we are all saving because of ChatGPT, because of these models that are coming up. And each time, each iteration, these companies are really fighting against each other in a friendly way, hopefully, to come up with the best solution. And that is the beauty of all of this, because it allows for these companies to be able to always come up with something better. And what does that mean for us? What is the big picture? Well, for us as developers, as people who are building things or using these tools, well, it makes it much easier for us to pick and choose. Maybe not easier, but it makes our lives easier and cost effective. Because as these large language models are being created and more innovation is coming in, that means the price of all of these inference, the APIs, these models is going to go way, way, way down. So that is how I want you to start thinking about this. And it's not about O1 or O3 or O10 or 11 or R1 DeepSeek, or because these are coming. There are many, many models are being developed right now, being trained, that are going to trump all of these, right? So that is the thing I want you to always think about. Okay, where are we going? What is the big picture? And that is the big picture, is that we're going to have these affordable AI models floating around that we can choose and pick and start using in our projects, in our applications, in our day lives. And that, my friend, is extremely exciting. Very exciting to me. So that is what I have for you today. And I hope this was helpful. I want to hear from you what you think of O3 Mini, what you think of DeepSeek R1, what do you think of this whole thing. All these models are coming up with reasoning and all that. And I really need to start thinking about it, because that's where we're going. Okay. Before I get too excited, because I'm always excited about this stuff in a way, and I just want to share this with you. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video. Make sure to also subscribe to our channel, because I've just noticed that most of you who watch this channel are not subscribed, and that is a shame, because you should subscribe. That's it. Well, thank you so much for your time, and until next time, be well.